great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion. Welcome back to the Immigration Answers Show. My name is Jim Hacking. This is episode number 507 of the Immigration Answers Show. I'll be here for the next hour answering as many of your immigration law related questions as I can. We are 7 episodes past our 500th 5-hour extravaganza. I see some of you are watching. Some folks, like the mastermind, were thinking the show started at 4 today. We were going to start it at 4, but I got too many things going on, so I had to sort of shake things up and do it at 1 o'clock today. I hope that doesn't cause too much of an inconvenience for people. I got a nice message from Tyrone. Oh, where did it go? It's another beautiful day the Lord has made. Let's all give thanks. Thank you, Tyrone. That reminds me of when I was a kid. When I grew up Catholic, they would always say, "This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad." Hello, Fatuma. Oh, dear sweet Fatuma, how are you doing? How are you guys doing? I'm doing great. I had a tooth yanked yesterday. Haha. So I thought it was going to be a long, drawn-out procedure, and my wife said, "Hey, you should bring some headsets." So I brought some headsets, and I said, "Hey, Doc, would it be okay if I wore my AirPods while you pull this tooth?" He said, "Sure." So I put in the headsets, and I picked a song, and it was the Superman theme song. And the song was the tooth was pulled before the song was over. How about that? So that was not fun. I don't recommend it, but I actually feel a lot better than I thought I was going to feel. I'm actually feeling a lot better than I thought. Now, it is a little numb over there, a little weird, but I mean, they offered me hydrocodone, and I said, I think I'll stick to Tylenol. So I took a pass on the hydrocodone. Thanks for checking, everybody. Glad to hear it. And guess what? Hoolie's back. Hoolie's back, and let's check in on Hoolie. Let's see how she's doing.
Hi, everyone. Hi.
Hoolie, where did you go? Mexico?
I went to Mexico, Cancun. I got the opportunity to meet in person Janae. She's one of our intake specialists.
Oh, that's
And
great. I didn't know
as
that.
sweet as you hear her on the line, on the phone, she's in person.
Why
She's
didn't you?
just
Why
lovely.
you didn't send me a picture?
I'm gonna send you pictures. I'll send you pictures. I told her we need to share some pictures with the rest of the team.
Oh, that's great. Well, did you have fun? Did you enjoy the sun? Was it good weather?
We had a couple of days raining, but I will tell you, Jim, and I get that knot in my throat again. It was amazing. I had
Oh,
eight
good.
years without visiting a beach because I'm from Venezuela. I'm from Puerto La Cruz, and there's sea all over the place. So it was kind of going back home, and when I saw that color of that water, it was like
Yeah,
I started crying.
that's
I
awesome.
started crying. It's amazing. It's a beautiful place, and anyone who can go, I highly recommend it. It's beautiful.
A couple of people are asking if you felt safe.
Yes, actually, very very safe. It obviously has like two faces. The side
Yeah,
of the city that people lives in and the tourist side. On the tourist side is very you feel secure because there's uh police all over the place. So it's nice. You actually everyone was telling me, don't take out your phone, don't do this. Don't. I felt so secure and safe the whole time.
mm. Yeah. When the kids were little, we went to Puerto Vallarta and we stayed in the condo. And I went into town to the grocery store. And when I came back and told some friends who were FBI agents that I'd done that, they said I was crazy. So I think there's a real difference between staying on site and then leaving. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm glad you had fun. I'm glad you're safe.
yeah. It happened to me the first night. I went to eat some tacos. I was like, I don't want to eat nothing. I want to get in Mexico and start eating tacos. I'm a taco fan.
Yeah.
So I went, ate some tacos. We went to this feria thing, And we went walking. And when I came back to an Oxxo store, the girl was like, never walk this 2 blocks because it's dangerous. And we walked like 4 times. So I was like, okay, the innocent is protected by God,
Huh.
but we
Not
never
always.
pass again.
Not always. All right. Well, I'm glad you're back. Thanks, Huli.
Thanks to you. Bye.
Yeah. Why Hori says no hydrocodone for me. Yeah. I mean, I have an addictive personality. I know myself. I watched Dope Sick, and I've had friends and people. There's a lawyer in town who got busted trying to score hydrocodone from the cops at the local mall. So I have no. I mean, if I can avoid hydrocodone, I'm going to avoid hydrocodone. That Sackler family did everything they could to make that thing as addictive as possible so they could make as much money as possible. So I have no interest in that. None. All right. Eric has been waiting. Let's see what Eric has to say. Hello, Eric. You're on mute. Hello, Eric.
Yes, can you hear me?
Go for it.
Yes, spoke with you about almost 3 months ago about my case. Still waiting for a decision. Haven't heard anything. I was just wondering, based on your experience, what's the longest that it can take for a work authorization based on a adjustment of status?
So when did you file?
Oh yes, sorry. We filed on October 28th of 2022.
And still no work card?
No,
Did you do biometrics?
yes, sir.
Were
We
you
they sent me a receipt within 2 weeks. They received, and then I went to do the biometrics on December 2nd. They sent me an RFE on June 3rd, June 15 of last year.
for what?
They said that the birth certificate was supposed to be translated. Uh, the lawyer said that they were going to take care of it, and time went by. It took about a month and a half for them to update it. I don't know. Like I think I told you, I don't know if the lawyer took that long or you know USCIS
USCIS.
took that long to update it. I don't know, but it took about a month and a half. On August 3rd, they updated, said that they received a response. Since then, have not heard anything, and it's been a little bit over 14 months, and so I was just, just now, like I said, I don't know how long, what's the most that it can take. I mean,
So
it seems a little long for a work permit. I don't know if I'm wrong. I might be wrong or not.
well, the RFE slowed it down. They wait to do the work card until they feel like they have what they need for the 485. What was your status at the time that you applied? Were you in status or out of status?
No status, but this is a 245I
Yeah.
application.
So that doesn't surprise me. I mean, so you have a lot of different things. Number one, you're out of status probably for a long time if you're talking about 245I. 245I makes it more complicated. Plus, you didn't submit a translated birth certificate, and that slowed it down 2 months. So I think probably you'll get the work card soon, but they're just taking their time on the whole overall case.
Okay, so
Well, I would say probably 2 or 3 more months. A year is the most that we're seeing, but we have to add on the 2 months for your RFE. So 14 months, I would say.
yeah, so it's been 14 months. So minus the time that they took, I guess what you're saying, the time that they for the RFE, which was like a month and a half, right?
Yep. So
Okay.
I think probably in the next month or so. And everything will probably happen quickly. You'll probably get your work card and then you'll get your interview shortly thereafter.
Yeah, the weird thing is I mentioned this to you last time. I have a brother, and we came in the country the same day. We've been here the same time. Uh, I guess you can say he's a twin, but he's not a twin, so he's a little older than me. he filed the same. We have the same petition, but he didn't file the 485 until 4 months after I did, because he had to get some documents, and he already received his green card.
Yeah. Yeah, I
He
believe
received
that.
the work permit within 4 months, and last month he received a green card with no interview.
I believe it. You might not have an interview, but I mean, every case is different. You're just proving my point that every case is different. So I think you're fine. Don't worry about it, Eric. You're fine. I think things are going to get moving here in the next couple months.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you for your time and have a good day.
Bye, buddy.
Bye.
All right, all right. Steven's asking mandamus questions. Is it true that the writ of mandamus lawyers can only reach out to the U.S. Attorney's office after a U.S. Attorney has been assigned, i.e., after a U.S. Attorney puts in their notice of appearance? Yes, generally. Otherwise, you don't know who to contact. So the case is eventually assigned to a particular U.S. Attorney, and you have no way of knowing that. It'd be very unusual for us to reach out to the office before their deadline and bother them, just because we have to deal with them all the time, and we don't like to do that. And sometimes they wait till the 60th day. So it depends on which U.S. attorney you get. Some enter after 30 days, some after 60 days, some answer late. There used to be a U.S. attorney in D.C. who, when we found out he got the case, we were like, oh man, it's him. We even called him Lazy Blank, his first name, because he was so slow. So there you go. All right. Diahito's back from yesterday. What's up, Diahito?
Hey Jim, how you doing? Sorry about that yesterday. I got
That's
a
all right.
call and I get disconnected.
So if I remember, you had two different arrests, two
Yeah,
different
what?
dispositions, and
Correct.
they're both more than 10 years old.
Yeah. One was in 2007 and the other one in 2012.
And the one in 7 was for driving without a license. What was the one in 2012?
I had like a fight with my brother, so he called the cops and they came, took me to the prison, and then again just took fingerprints, and then I had to go to court, pay the fine, and again the case dismissed.
What was the charge?
It says street fight.
Was it a misdemeanor?
Yeah, misdemeanor.
I think you should be fine.
Yeah. So I was just concerned, about they say you gotta have 5 years of good moral character. So
Yeah.
I just was wondering if either of these cases gonna affect me in any way.
I mean, it's
Or
hard
my
for me to
effort.
say. I can't tell you for sure without looking at the filings and the statutes and all that stuff. But if the first one I'm not worried about at all, the second one, a misdemeanor assault or fighting, probably not a problem. But in order to know for sure, I mean, it's more than 5 years. Have you left the United States at all since that conviction?
Yeah, I mean, I left on 2019 when I became permanent resident, and
Yeah.
then 2021.
And did you disclose those when you applied for your green card?
Yeah, I told them that I've been arrested. The same. I give them the dispositions and
And
yeah.
do you still have copies of the dispositions?
Yeah, I do have.
So bring those with you to the interview.
Yeah, okay, all right. And I got last question is and the part that it says that for the select service,
Yeah.
it says it's asking if you've been registered, and I didn't register for that when I was between 18 and 26. I didn't know.
How old were you when you got your green card?
31.
Yeah, then you didn't have to. So that doesn't apply to you because you didn't have your green card before you turned 8. Before you got your green card after you were 26. So that's only if you're a green card holder between 18 and 26.
Oh, okay. So I got to what I got to put a yes or not when in that question.
No.
Oh, okay. All right. I appreciate that, Jim. And thank you for having me.
Bye, Dihito. Good luck, buddy.
Bye.
Keep us posted,
Thank you.
okay? You got
All right.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah, later. All right. Andrea's been waiting. Hello, Andrea.
Hi, can I turn off my camera?
I got you off camera. You can leave it on, but you're off camera.
Okay, thank you. So I got my green card, the 2-year green card this year. I didn't have an interview. So my son, He's in my home country, and he had his interview. When I got married, he was 17. Now he's 20 years old. So he had his interview at the embassy, and she said, "Oh, she got married soon." Then he said, "Yeah, like," and I didn't send him my marriage certificate. So she said, "I need the marriage certificate." Then we sent the marriage certificate, and the case updates every time as refused.
What
Then when
embassy?
Brazil.
Why didn't you send him a copy of the marriage certificate? That was like, there's no way he was going to get a visa without a copy of the marriage certificate.
It was my mistake. Yeah, I sent everything that the everything they asked. It was my mistake. So my question would be, because I didn't have an interview, that's the reason why they are refusing, or is it normal to refuse? They update and refuse. What would be the final answer?
Well, now they might be
Deny?
thinking. Now they might be thinking that he aged out. Well, how long ago was his interview?
Was December.
So last month.
Yes,
When does he turn 21?
September.
Yeah, I would say if you don't have a decision in like 2 months, you might want to sue them for your son.
Okay.
But it should be okay. I mean, you sent the marriage certificate to them, and they have it now.
Yes, I sent them an email asking, like, I sent you guys the marriage certificate. I would like to know if you guys received. Then they said yes, and to wait the decision.
I
Just
think
this.
you're just chilling. It's all good.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Bye, Andrea. Yeah, for sure. So if you have a child that wants to come based on a marriage to a U.S. citizen of their parent, you've got to prove up that marriage in order to get the kid the visa. That's always going to be true. Had a couple questions. Anthox is wondering if I still drink Diet Pepsi. Yes, everybody was yesterday wondering if I'd given that up as my New Year's resolution. I think you guys are crazy. No, I did not. And here's a bummer of a question. Did you win your fantasy league? No. No, we only lost one regular season game, but then McCaffrey got hurt and we didn't have a good day. We had our worst underperforming game of the year, and we lost the championship. Can you believe it? My son was very upset, but it was all because he was being greedy. He said he wanted all the money and that I couldn't have any of the money. And so that's why he lost, because he was being too greedy. All right. Franklin is up. What's up, Franklin?
Hey Jim, how are you?
Great, buddy. How you doing?
Good, good. So I have three quick little questions. The first one is it's all for people that I know around me. The first one, um, this lady is a U.S. citizen, and she brought her son here when he was about 6 or 7 years old. So he had a green card, and 2 years ago he applied for a U.S. passport because his mom is a U.S. citizen and got the U.S. passport, and the State Department kept the green card. Um, Now he's about to turn 18, and she was wondering at this point, do we just go ahead and apply for the N600 or wait till he turns 18 and then apply for the N400 and save that $400?
Well, if he's a citizen, he's a citizen. So if he's a citizen, he's a citizen by operation of law, whether he files an N600, whether he gets the U.S. passport or not, he's a citizen. So one of the ways that you can get your N400 denied is if you're already a citizen. So you can't just apply for an N400 because it's $400 cheaper than an N600. You have to do what is actually right. So if we all believe that the young man is a citizen because he came on a green card and he lived in the custody of his U.S. citizen mother and she had enough time in the United States, then the only option is to do an N600.
And he has a passport, so.
Yeah. So if he can prove it all up and he is a U.S. citizen, then N600 is the way to go.
Okay. My next question is, so I know this guy whose wife brought him here through marriage, and it was bona fide marriage, and he got here and things started going south. And while he was still living with his wife, he had a child out of wedlock. He cheated on his wife and had a child out of it. He was wondering whether, and he's a U.S. citizen. He was a U.S. citizen when that child was born. But the child was born, he was still married, and then further down they got a divorce. He's wondering if that child is a U.S. citizen at birth.
So the child was, so this was a child that he had with somebody back from the home country.
Yes.
The child might be a citizen. We'd have to look at the analysis and see, did the dad live in the United States for at least 5 years before the kid was born?
Yeah.
He did?
Yeah.
Okay. We could look at it. The kid might be a citizen. I don't know for sure. We'd have to look at all the dates and everything, but they might be a citizen, and it's an out of wedlock child. Now, here's an interesting question. Was the child born before or after the dad became a citizen?
After.
After. Okay. So no reason to list the child on the N400.
Yes.
Had the guy started the relationship with the baby mama before citizenship or after?
He's saying after.
And did he get his citizenship on the 3-year rule or the 5-year rule?
3.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's certainly worth looking at if the kid's a U.S. citizen. I just don't know. We got to look at all the dates and everything, but it's possible. They could email me the dates and everything. I could take a look at it.
Okay. So, but his main concern is rather on the fact that the child was born. He was still married to his now ex-wife.
Yeah.
So, and is that going to cause any sort of issue? I mean, my question is more.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's worth worrying about. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why we need a timeline, because you need to write everything out. So, like, what's the date that he married the U.S. citizen? What's the date that he got his green card? What's the date that he filed for the N400? What's the date that he impregnated the lady? What was the date that he got his citizenship? What was the date that he got divorced? What was the date the kid was born? All those dates could impact the analysis, because you're right. If he applies for a green card for the kid or a passport for the kid, they could come back and say, well, we didn't know that you were catting around on your 3-year wife, getting people pregnant, either in a relationship before or after. I mean, it sounds like a pretty tight window there. So I would imagine that if you and I, or he and I, sat down and looked at all the dates, there'd be some like, oh yeah, we should be a little bit worried about applying for any benefits for that kid. Not so much for the kid, but for the dad, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds pretty darn close to trouble to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's cheating is always trouble. Anyway,
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, that's right.
My last question is regarding the mandamus lawsuit for the Baltimore office.
Yeah.
We're getting close to, like, right now it's a little under 2 weeks left to the deadline.
Yeah.
Any reason? Because I've always heard you speaking highly of
Well,
Baltimore.
that's interesting. That's interesting that you say that, because I just sent an email to a U.S. attorney. They asked for a 14-day extension from Baltimore, and I said, dude, this hardly ever happens. Like, I never heard of Baltimore asking for extension. So yeah, I mean, I think the fact that you got 2 weeks left, I wouldn't worry about that. Most all of them respond beforehand. I wouldn't worry about that so much. But I will say, for the very first time ever, they've asked for an extension, which is very rare for them.
Chances are that's mine that you replied to. Who knows? Maybe.
No, this is one where there had already been one extension.
Oh, okay.
So that was weird.
So you think that there's nothing to worry about? The fact
I think you'll hear something in the next week or so. I mean, don't forget, everybody shut down for a week.
True. Well, people were getting approvals on December 24th and January 2nd.
You can't view that as a rule. That's an exception.
True. That's true.
Thanks, right. Franklin.
Thank you very much.
Bye, buddy. See ya. All right. Temmie likes my use of the phrase "date he impregnated the lady." I think I'm going to make a video called "Date he impregnated the lady." Date he impregnated the lady. Well, he did, didn't he? Am I lying? Am I wrong, Temmie? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Franklin's laughing. All right. Amir's been waiting. Hello, Amir.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Hacking. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you so much. So, the case is for my mother. She used to be a green card holder, and during COVID, she stayed out of the United States for more than 1 year, and as a
Yeah.
result, she lost her status. So, I tried to get her a returning resident visa twice at two different embassies, and they denied her request. So what I did, I went ahead and I reapplied for her Form I-30, immediate family member,
Wait, can I ask a question
and
real quick before you get to that?
yeah, yep.
How do you know that she lost her status?
So when I did some research online on the Department of State website, it says as a green card holder, if you stay more than 1 year outside the US, you lose your green card status.
Yeah,
And
but has she tried to come back, or has anybody told her that she lost it?
she have not tried to come back. No, I
And
was afraid she might get deported.
how old is
If
she?
she is 62, 63,
And when was the last time she was on American soil?
about 4 years ago.
Okay. So you mean, well, 4 years ago. So you mean like at the beginning of COVID?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. All right.
So try to get her two try to get her two appointment for return resident visa at two different embassy. Both of them got rejected. And so my next
Hold on.
route
What's a
was
return? When you say return resident visa, you mean an SR11, or what are you talking about?
there's a type if you stayed extended time outside the US more than 1 year, there's a visa. I forgot what it's called exactly, but the code for it, but it's called returning resident
And it got
visa. So,
rejected.
yep. So they evaluate your situation and your circumstances, and based on that, they allow you to come back or not. So in
Right.
this case, it was rejected twice at two different embassy. So I went through the USCIS and I reapplied for her again, immediate family member, back in August 22. And the form, her I-30 form was approved on July 5th, 2023.
Okay.
And we were waiting for it to go to the NVC
Yeah.
for the next step, but it never made it to the MVC. I contacted the MVC about a month ago, and I said her I-30 form was approved on July 5th, and they said we haven't received it yet.
That's weird.
Yep.
What happens when you ask USCIS?
So I tried to send a email request, and they say my inquiry still was the same within the time frame to process, and I cannot ask questions right now. The message didn't get sent to the processor because I'm still within the time frame.
No, that's bullshit. It's an approved case. Keep calling them. Call them every day.
Okay. So is there
You
anything?
just need the case to get sent. The case is sitting at USCIS.
Yep.
Yeah. So they're done. So there's no processing times don't come into play here.
Okay.
You just need them to send it on. So you just got to start bothering them. This would be one of the ways that a member of Congress could help you too. So usually I'm not a big
out recently.
Yeah, usually I'm not a big believer on that, but this is one where they could help you. But you have to remember, they're confused. They've already approved an I-130 for her. They don't know why in the hell you're filing for another I-130.
Okay.
Did mom consular process the last time, or did she adjust?
She no, she did not adjust. It was consular process.
So same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah, last time the first time I applied for her, it took 9 months to go through the whole process. There was no COVID.
Yeah.
They didn't have any backlog.
Mom has her green card with her?
Yes, she does.
What country is she?
Syria.
Yeah. So they're just slow walking it all around. Yep. Yeah, I think you just got to bother the crap out of them and get them to send it to the National Visa Center.
Is there the risk if she tried to come back on her old green card now? Because I got a lot of those advice, but I wasn't. But I tried to follow the rules, and that's what we did. But we're being bunched for following the rules.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know that I'd frame it that way, but I mean, the problem isn't so much. The problem is we don't know what's going to happen. Like you said, they could give her expedited removal or try to revoke her green card. It's pretty tough. I don't think they would do it. I would have tried to bring her here a year ago, but since you've now got a new I-130, I think I would just go ahead and try to finish out that process.
Okay, sounds good. Can we, if I don't hear back from the USCIS and they don't move the case along, if that's going to be my next step, is to connect with you and try to
I would I would say if you don't hear something in a month or two, I'd sue, because what I would do is I would sue USCIS and the State Department. Those are good lawsuits because that way they can't point the finger at each other, which is what they're doing.
Okay. And if, let's say, if they send now the case to the NVC, what is the time frame I should expect at the NVC? Is there still backlog?
Where are they doing interviews for Syrians in Jordan or what?
Jordan. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, Jordan's swamped. So I think if NVC got the case tomorrow, you're still talking, a year and 3 months or something.
Okay. And a lawsuit won't expedite it because of the delay. Like
not that part. Not that part. Nope.
Okay.
Not these days. Thanks, Amir.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Bye, buddy. I was getting a little dizzy with that chair rocking back and forth. I thought the camera was moving or I was moving. I don't know what's going on. Thanks, Amir, for the call. Hey, you guys will recall that this is the Immigration Answers Show, episode number 507. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm an immigration attorney. If you got 60 seconds and want to do us a favor, thank you for all the free content. Go over to reviewhackinglaw.com. Leave us a 5-star review. We would appreciate it. In yesterday's show, the last caller of the day reminded me that I was supposed to look up something for her, and I forgot. And I did look it up, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So you guys have heard me talk many times about how difficult it is to get a stamp in your passport when you just want to get it renewed, and how risky it can be to go overseas to get a visa stamp. And a lot of people go ahead and do it and they don't have a problem, but some people do it and they get stuck outside the United States. So a lot of people have been pretty excited about this opportunity that they've heard about this great new program that the State Department has that's going to allow for what's called stateside visa stamping. Now, remember, your visa is your ticket into the United States. So the people that suffer the most under the current regime is people from India. And the problem is that they will make an appointment to go get their H-1B stamp because they either got an extension or they changed from an F1 on OPT and they needed to go back to India to get their stamp. And then the embassy says, oh, admin processing, and people lose 3 or 4 months trying to get their stamp. So people were really excited about this program. So I did a little bit of research, and one of the first things I was surprised to know was that before 2004, which is when I started doing immigration law in 2007, but back in 2004, before then, you could do stateside stamping, which means you could just go somewhere in the United States and get a stamp on your passport. You didn't have to go get a new stamp, which is good. The reason this is important is, like, if you're an Indian and you've been in the United States for a really long time, but you haven't gotten a new stamp, then you wanted to go to Mexico or something, you couldn't, because if you went to Mexico, you didn't have a stamp in your passport, a visa in your passport to come back, right? So that's the real reason that it was a problem. So there was a skit on there's a little thing in the movie The Jerk. Let me see if I can find it on YouTube. He worked at the carnival, and people would yeah, here it is. I'm going to show it to you guys. Let me see if I can do it. Okay, hold on. Let me see. No thanks. Put it back here. All right. I'm gonna pull this up because to me this describes how limited this pilot program is. Okay, so let me see if I can pull this off. Now they might ding me with a copyright violation, so I might have to take this out later, but let me see what I can do. Share screen. The Jerk. Share. All right.
But you're not going to fool the guesser. How about you, sir? Step right up.
Hey, honey, let's see how good this guy is. Now, what do I win?
Anything in this general area, right in here. Anything below the stereo and on this side of the bicentennial glasses. Anything between the ashtray and the thimble. Anything in this 3 inches right in here in this area that includes the chiclets but not the erasers.
No, sir. Bald, honey. He thought he had himself a ruse.
So that's how limited this pilot program is. Let me walk you through this pilot program. Now, when they say pilot program, in fairness, that does mean that they're just trying this out, right? They're just trying it out. But man, oh man, is it limited. Let me show you. So share screen, Federal Register. All right, let's take a look. So this is a pilot program to resume H-1B visa stamping in the United States for certain qualified non-citizens. So it's the Department of State notice of a pilot program. The Department of State is announcing a pilot program to resume domestic visa renewal for qualified H-1B non-immigrant visa applicants who meet certain requirements. Now think about Steve Martin, and he said, including the chiclets, but not the erasers. And they have all these other great prizes. So it sounds like there's going to be this great new H-1B program for everybody, okay? So the H-1B program goes into effect on January 19th. They're just trying it out. So basically February and March of 2024, applicants who meet the requirements may choose to participate by applying online. Okay, that sounds great. And they tell you, what you need to do. And then here's the proposed rule. And here it says 2004, the department discontinued domestic renewal of non-diplomatic, non-immigrant visas, primarily because of post 9/11 legislation, basically. All right, here it is. Participation in this pilot will be limited to applicants who are seeking to renew an H-1B visa. So it's for renewals. That's cool. That's fine. Here's the kicker. The prior H-1B was issued by either Canada or India. So it's only people from those 2 countries where they got their stamps. And they had to have gotten it between January 20th and April 1st, 2023 for Canada, or just for a limited 7-month window for Indians from February 1st, 2021 through September 30th. Now, why is it so limited? Probably because they're worried about getting overwhelmed. But those are the very few people that it applies to. And then these are all the other requirements. You have to have an approved and unexpired H-1B. You have to have been admitted in H-1B. So this wouldn't apply to people, like I said, on F-1s who changed their status to H-1B. They're currently maintaining H-1B. Their time hasn't expired, and they intend to re-enter after. So it is a very, very limited pilot. We will see what happens. We'll see what happens. And maybe it'll work, and maybe people will get excited, and maybe this will help people. But for now, it's a very small window of time for a very limited number of people who got their visas from Canada or from India. That's it. So hopefully that lady who came on yesterday will catch this. I will do a clip of this, and we'll put it on the YouTube channel all by itself. But that's my thoughts on the H-1B pilot program. Let's go see what Muhammad has to say. Hi, Muhammad.
Hey, Jim. How's it going?
Great. How you doing?
Excellent. Not too bad. Thanks for asking. So, Jim, I want to know what is the recommended travel time on OPT. So if I want to travel and come back, and I still have 3 months left on my OPT, which I still have 2 years extension on the STEM. Is that okay? Safe? Not safe? What do you recommend?
So that's what I was going to ask. So we're talking about original OPT and you're STEM eligible. And have you started the STEM stuff or no?
I still haven't started the STEM stuff, but the plan is if I come back 3 months before, I still have 3 months on the EOD employment authorization document. Is that okay?
What's the earliest that you can get started on the STEM part?
I don't know exactly, to be honest. I haven't. I'll ask my friends.
Well, ask your school. Don't ask your friends. Ask your school.
Yeah. Because currently it's like they're deliberately delaying the acceptance process of the OPT so that they can push people to pay the $1,500 for the premium processing. OPT acceptance should be maximum 3 months, and right now they're going up to 4 months, and I've heard even more sometimes. So they're pushing people to pay the premium processing, especially
That sounds like
with
that.
the
But
situation. Yeah.
so as we sit here right now, when does your original 1-year grant of OPT expire?
In August. So if for example, if I want to travel and come back in end of April or something.
You know me. Generally, travel is bad. If you can avoid it, do it. But if you have to travel, then my answer is make sure that you bring documentation of all of your intentions of what's going to happen next. Right. So, however, if you can get anything started related to show that you're, one, bring proof that you're STEM eligible. Two, tell them what steps you've taken, if any, to begin the STEM extension. And then show them what your plan is. Then the flip side of that is, it would be nice if we could show that even though you're on an F1, you still intend to return home once your studies are over. So I don't know how long you've been in the United States, but if you came on a 2-year master's or a 4-year bachelor's, as long as you don't have like 20 years of F1 status before OPT, then I'm probably okay with this.
Yeah. So I would just back up and bring as much documents as I can, and
backwards and forward.
Yeah. But is there like, do you think like if I try to make the travel and come back 6 months earlier, like I come back and I still have 6 months on the OPT, is that better than coming
Always
back
better.
while I have better, right? Yeah.
But at the same time, if you can get sort of far down the path on the STEM extension, I'm cool with either one.
So that I can just show the officers and that I have some proof.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that's all for me. But I do have a comment on Amir, the guy who was calling before. I've met a Sudani guy who's his mother, also during the COVID time and all that stuff, and she stayed some sort of time outside the U.S. and her green card status. They didn't know she exceeded the 1-year time, but they just came in and they talked with them because it was the COVID situation. So I don't know if he can go ahead and try that. He'll lose $1,500 ticket or something. I don't know if he has something else to lose. If
the only thing is that they started the new I-130. That's the only thing. That's the only. So now everybody's going to be confused.
Yeah, but I'm like, what does he have to lose? Like, is he just going to lose the ticket price? Man, you can go ahead and try. I don't know if there's any other legal things that he will lose.
Like if she had with an expedited removal, that would be problematic. But I think that would be unusual.
Yeah, they'll just send her back on a plane, right? They won't deport
her. Make her buy a ticket. Yep.
Yeah, it's just going to be a ticket price, like what? $1,500, $2,000.
The funny thing
I don't know.
is,
I think it's worth it. I just think so.
And the funny thing is, so I knew during COVID, like when COVID started, I bet I can find videos of me explaining this to people. I was like, you guys are all going to start throwing up your hands and saying, oh, I'm stuck inside the United States, so I get to stay as long as I want. There's COVID. Or I'm stuck outside of the United States because of COVID, right? Like you still have to do your best. Like she's going to be much better off. Think about two different people. Let's say she's been out of the United States for 3 years because of COVID, and she tries to come back like you're suggesting. If one lady shows that I had COVID, that I made doctor's appointments, that I made airplane appointments, they kept canceling my flight 6 times, versus somebody who just threw up their hands and said, oh, woe is me, I can't go back, right? So who's going to be more sympathetic? So I told everybody this way back then.
I think if he has an excuse, if he can show that he had an excuse, if she's especially an old lady, I think that people can tend to be sympathetic with them and help him out.
Mohammed, I don't think you're an immigration lawyer, so you can say that, but I can't say that.
Of course.
I can't say that, but you can say it. So maybe listen to Mohammed, people.
Yeah.
All right, bye, buddy.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Bye.
All right. Yeah, Yassine remembers too that I vividly remembers that I used to advise people to document that you tried to leave. I sure did, because I knew how they were. I knew that 2 things would happen. I knew they would give no clear guidance on what people were supposed to do, and 2, I knew that they would do what they could to screw the people that didn't do anything. If they could find a way to screw people, they would. That was the whole thing. I knew that back then. Anita's back. Hello, Anita.
Yeah. Hello, sir.
How you doing?
Mr. Hacken. So I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. I have a question. So this is for my parents. So I petitioned for my parents my mom and my dad, they both obtained a green card. Um, and they used to be citizens of Italy, so Europe. My three siblings, they were all born in Italy. They are citizens. I couldn't petition for them. They have to get the petition by my parents. My only concern is one of my siblings is about to turn 21 in July. He's still in Italy. Then I have two younger siblings. They are able to come to the United States without the visa. They use the ESTA, the ESTA. So my question is, can my parents petition for the kids whilst they are here in the United States, or they have to be outside of the United States? The reason why is because my mom had to go back. She couldn't stay in the US because, two of them are young. So she had to go back and try to take care of them. So I don't know if one of them, my mom or my dad, can petition for the three kids whilst the kids are in Europe, or if the kids can be here. Ideally, we would want them to be here so one parent doesn't need to be out of the United States just to take care of them.
So this is what I call a law school exam questions, because there's lots of different people. There's you, the U.S. citizen. There's your parents, the green card holders. There's the kid who's about to turn 21, and then there's the two little kids, right? And everybody has little options, and so so a lot going on. Let's try to unpack all this. So the first thing I want to say is I know that you didn't mean this, but technically you could apply for your siblings. It's just a 16-year wait. You said I can't apply for them. You can apply for them. It's just a 16-year wait. So so that's one thing. So for mom, who's outside the United States, when was the last time she was physically inside the United States?
She was here up to the end of August.
August. And when is she coming back?
Yeah.
When is she coming back?
She could come back anytime, but because of the kids, she's just there waiting.
How old are the two non-20-year-old kids?
One is 14 and the other one is 17.
Okay. And so does mom have a reentry permit?
Oh, she's a green card holder.
Okay. Do you know what a reentry permit is?
No.
So a reentry permit is what would allow mom to stay outside of the United States for up to 2 years.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of times what we do in situations like this is we tell, like a lot of times the parents come and we get them both reentry permits so that they both can go back and stay with the kids. Right? So what if we had been talking about this from the get-go, if you called me the week before mom and dad came to the United States, I would say, okay, great. Once they get here, let's apply for reentry permits. And when they get their green cards, we'll apply for reentry permits and they'll file I-130s for 21-year-old, 17-year-old, and 14-year-old. And then they can go back overseas and sit with kids the whole time this is pending. Now, in the old days, the children of green card cases went pretty quickly, but now they don't. Right. So getting that reentry permit. So mom should come back before 6 months are up.
Okay.
She shouldn't have a trip outside more than 6 months. Maybe dad has to go replace her for a little bit. But what I would do now is I would have dad apply for a reentry permit. It's an I-131 form. That's the name of the form. It's the same as the travel document. I-131. Have him get a reentry permit. He has to stay here until he gets fingerprinted, right?
Okay. Quick question. The reentry permit is the same as the I-130, or they are two separate documents?
I-131.
31. Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
I might not have said it right. Yep. Okay. So dad gets a reentry permit. He goes replaces mom. Mom comes back before 6 months and she applies for a reentry permit. Okay. And then and I would also have dad right now file I-130s for all three of them.
Okay.
20-year-old is going to age out most likely. What we're trying to avoid is 17-year-old aging out. So 20-year-old, their case will stay alive, but it's like a 7 or 8 year wait and they can't get married. Right? So most likely that kid's going to age out.
Okay. Okay. When we looked at the application for the I-130, it said that kids that are married up to 21.
Right, but
So I don't know if you both,
so,
yeah.
so there's something called, so what, like how long until that kid turns 21? How many months?
July.
So 5 months, 6 months.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. And there's not an I-130 on file for that kid right now, right?
Not yet. No.
Right. So on the day that you file the I-130, that kid's date will be frozen. Their age will be frozen at 20 years and 8 months,
Hmm.
right? Or 7 months.
Hmm.
And that'll
Hmm.
remain frozen as long as the I-130 is pending with USCIS. But once the I-130 is approved, that kid's age is going to
Hmm.
start going back up day by day. And so I think most likely, I mean, we should have filed the I-130s for everybody the day after mom and dad got their green cards. We shouldn't have let one day pass. But now that we have, it's very likely that 20-year-old is going to be too old and no longer classified as the underage child of a green card holder, but rather the adult child of a green card holder, right? So then he goes into a different visa category. He goes from F2A to F2B, and that's where the delay comes in.
Okay.
So the most important thing is get I-130s on file for everybody as fast as you can.
Hmm.
And then hopefully the race right now is trying to get all this done before 17-year-old ages out. That's what we don't want to happen.
Hmm.
Because right now,
she gets to 18 in July as well of this year.
yeah, so tick-tock.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. But there's no way for them to be in here and apply. They have to be outside because regardless, the 130% too.
Yeah, because they have to have valid status the whole time, and they won't because they're not immediate relatives. They have to have status the whole time. And right now, the final action dates for the underage children of green card holders is like 4 years.
Oh wow.
It used to be really fast, but now there's a backlog. That's what I mean. That's why we're trying to make sure that we save the 17-year-old as a kid and not as an adult child of a green card holder.
Okay.
Do you understand everything I told you?
Yes, I do.
Good.
I do.
Thanks, Anita.
Thank you. Thank you so
Have a good
much.
day. See ya. Yeah, that's some tricky stuff when you get sort of that high level, and because of all the delays now, right? Historically, for the last 6 or 7 years, the children of green card holders went about as fast as the children of U.S. citizens. And so now we're sort of in a new world that a lot of people aren't really used to. Auburn is here. Hey, Auburn, you're not driving, are you? You're on mute, Auburn. You're on mute. He's eating. Auburn's eating.
Yeah, I'm eating. Hi, how are you?
What you got there?
Tacos.
Nice. Can't ever go
Yeah,
wrong with tacos.
I know. Yeah, so I have a few questions, Jim. Oh, by the way, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Auburn.
Yeah. Here's the situation. This girl was separated from her husband. They were living separate for like a year or so, a year or more. Then she wanted to come to the United States. Upon getting the visa, they asked her if she was married, and then she said yes. Then when she got here, after like when she got here, she met someone, and then they were dating for some time. Then they broke up. Then again, she met someone while her divorce in her country was pending. Then after some time, her marriage was what is it resolved or something? And then they sent her the divorce decree. She wasn't actually in the courthouse or anything. They sent her the divorce decree. Then the second person she met here, she got married to that person, and then now she's trying to apply for her, is it green card? She's trying to apply for a green card.
What country is she from?
She's from Zimbabwe.
So I've got a lady who applied for a visit visa to the United States. At the time she applied, she was married in Zimbabwe.
She was separated.
But she told him she was married when she got the visa.
Yeah, is that a difference between married and separated?
I don't know. So then what happens?
Yeah, then when she was here, she was with someone, and then they broke up. They were not married, but they were just like a fiance or something. Then she met someone else. Then then she got married. Then a final divorce in her home country was finalized like last year July.
After
then she got married.
After she married the American or before?
Or before. Our marriage was dissolved in July of last year.
Of 23.
And then
when she get married?
23. She got married the same year, which was last December.
Okay.
2023, yeah. Then now she wants to apply for a green card. So the question is, was she supposed to say married or separation during her DS 160 application form?
Yeah, I mean, the question is, does the form ask, is separated a choice? I don't think it is a choice. But
so technically she was married, right?
Huh? Yeah,
so technically she was married.
Still married. Yeah, but the question is, the officer might have asked a question that they think she should have covered or admitted that they were separated. That's the tricky thing, right?
Okay.
So I think she should be a little bit worried. I would try to track down the DS-160. I would try to remember everything about that interview. Now, is she sure that the divorce that she has from Zimbabwe is valid?
Yeah, because the one person who was there was her husband, and she had a lawyer over there.
Yeah. Okay.
In the courthouse. Yeah.
So she has a valid divorce. And then did you say she married a different American other than the first American now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what's the question? Should she be worried? Yeah, she should be worried. Is it a hard case? Yeah, it's a hard case. Can it be approved? Yeah, it can be approved, but they're going to be all over her.
Oh, I see. So okay, so one other question. In terms of lease agreement, how can she be added on to her husband's agreement? Husband original house agreement, if she has no social or no ID, some sort of, I don't know how, the house lease agreement or apartment agreement, how is she able to be added on that?
Has she tried?
No.
So you got to try. First of all, I need to have a new rule. You can't just throw up your hands and say, I can't do it. So many people tell me things aren't possible when they haven't even tried. So number one is ask the landlord if they can add her to the lease. Most landlords are happy to add people to leases because that means there's someone else they can go after if somebody doesn't pay rent. So that's number one. Number two, once she applies, eventually she's going to get a work card and a social security number, then add them. So everybody, you got to do your best and you got to do what we tell you to do to file the strongest case possible or to make the case stronger over time.
Okay. When you say work card, and then at what point does it come during the interview? I mean,
well, if you listen to this show, you heard one person who got it yesterday. They got it in 60 days, and one person's been waiting a year. So it depends. They're probably not going to like her case, so hers will probably take a little longer. They're going to be suspicious about her.
I see. Okay, well, those are the only questions. Can she apply right now, or maybe after she gather some information and all that stuff? And then how they met with the new husband was online. You know, the online dating, is that a problem?
Not anymore, as long as we have lots of other evidence.
Oh, because most of the times, you know, it's like, hey, you meet this person and then you have to be with them for some time. But they met last October and then they married in December. That was like online.
So this person needs a lawyer. This person needs a lawyer to beat the shit out of her and her husband, to scare the crap out of them. Otherwise, they're not going to be ready for this interview and they're going to fuck it all up.
Oh, okay.
So somebody needs to get in their face and scare the shit out of them. I'd be happy to do it if you want me to talk to them.
All right, definitely. I'll give her the information and then I should get back to you.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's not
she'll
going to be
email
an
you.
easy case. Thanks, Auburn. Enjoy those tacos. See you, buddy.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right, I'm going to hit Royer one more time because Royer's been waiting so patiently. Hello, Royer.
Yes, good afternoon, sir, and a happy new year to you.
Same to you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I have a question. I want some, if you could help me there. Yeah, my wife from Africa. I married to her. We have 6 months since we get married. So I want to know that how long did I have to wait to file for her to able to bring her up here, or what can I do?
You're already married?
Yes.
Once you're married, you can apply the next day. If anybody says anything, why'd you file so soon? I would say, because you morons take 1.5 years to approve these cases. That's why. So there's no benefit. There's no benefit to waiting to file.
Okay. One more question concerning itself. Did your like income wise, did you have to have a certain income bracket to able to file for your wife?
If you're a single person, this is the way I think about it. If you're a single person, think about $28,000, $27,500, right? If you have any dependents on your taxes, add $7,000 for each person.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, do me a favor. Go change those batteries in the smoke detector. Don't want anything to happen to you.
I will. And sometimes
I think, Royer, I think you have 2 going. I think there's 2 that need batteries. It sounds like to me.
Yeah, it's right there. I got you.
No, I think there's one in the back too.
Thank you. I will do it.
Yeah, buddy.
Anyway, have a good one.
Bye, Royer. Thanks. Yeah, we're gonna get sponsored. That I always pick up on that because we've had apartments and we've had tenants and stuff, and I would go over there and the thing was beeping. I'd be like, oh man. So you got to take care of that. Don't want anything happen. Everyone's got to be safe. Got to change those carbon monoxide detectors and those fire detectors. Tomorrow's show, 4 p.m. Central. 4 p.m. Central. I know that I said today might be 4, but tomorrow's definitely 4. We'll see you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Central, for another hour of fun. And then Friday we'll do a show, although I don't know what time yet. I think Friday I'm doing something. What am I doing on Friday? Oh, yeah, I know. All right, guys. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. See ya.